Hey students, let's start our fifth unit. Our fifth unit theme is social issues. What is the meaning of social issue? Social issues means problem. Problem which affects the people within the society. A kind of problem which makes the people dumb. We won't think of development. We just fight. We'll have internal conflicts and we'll distract ourselves from the path of development, civilization, modernization. Even in our 25th century, 2021, we face many different kind of social issues. It may be corruption, it may be education system, about the education system, or basic sanitation, or women's safety, or illiteracy. Like, we have many different problems, pollution, population. But ultimately what we need to do? What we need to do? Right in the past, if we go back to 70, 80 years back or 90 years back, how we are as an Indian, how we used to live, how the people used to suffer. You might have studied in your social studies or some or other places through the stories, you might have had a little idea. But as I'm telling you, even now we are facing different kind of problems. When we go back to 80 years back, people suffered in many different ways. Now we are talking, we term it as social issues, but we can term the problems of those people as they suffered because of the social evils. It may be untouchability, it may be poverty, it may be a sati system or child marriage system. And like that we have, we used to have many different kind of problems where our ancestors suffered a lot. So we are going to witness such kind of story, a story which is was a story of a man which was affected due to caste system. He was killed due to caste system. So we are going to know about the person, his dreams, his aspirations, and how his dreams were burnt into ashes is our fifth 5A and B. That is Storied House 1 and 2. These two parts. And further we are going to learn, or we are going to read or acknowledge a burning issue which is happening in the society right now, that is abandonment. So altogether, our fifth unit, we are going to talk about the social evils and how we need to give a proper comeback from those issues, from those social evils. Moving on to the thing, first and as I told you, when we go back to 80, 90 years back and see the people of India, they suffered a lot due to this untouchability, social injustice, inequality. The people, a certain group of people, certain community related people, they were just kept away from the civil area. Their houses were completely away from the civil area. That means the other community people used to live together, but few particular communities people, they were thrown away from the village. That means their habitat was little away from the village, normal village, regular village. Even they were not even allowed to drink water from their well. That means upper class people, they didn't even allow to drink water from their wells. So these lower caste people, they used to dig their own wells, they used to do all these works of their own. But do you know, the tragic truth was they were not allowed to touch They were not allowed to eat or drink these people food or water. But those lower class people are the people who work in these upper class people houses for work as a bonded laborers, as a slaves. These certain kind of community people, they used to work as slaves. That was a very tragical thing which went on for many years. And see, if you see this picture itself, you can identify, you can realize how injustice was going on. Upper caste people and lower caste people, and in that also upper caste, lower caste, rich, poor, communal differences, region differences, language differences, like that we used to have n number of differences. But slowly, year by year, when the people started getting educated, when the people started thinking broad-mindedly, they started changing themselves. And as I told you, these certain set of community people, they used to live, they used to build their own houses little away from the regular villages. And the other very drastic thing happened in those days, and after many years of our independence also it continued, that is human scavengers. Human scavengers, they directly get into that, and they used to clean, though they were sick because of such kind of work. They were forced to do work. Certain communal people, community related people were forced to do that work by saying that your community belongs to that and you have to do only those things. And a complete poverty. Rich used to be rich enough and poor used to be poor enough. According to them, rich has to donate the money and poor have to beg. They didn't have any right to study or right for education or right for speaking, right for fighting for their rights. No. They were forced to be as slaves. Lot of superstitions. Many kind of, many different kind of superstitions they used to impose on these poor people. They used to even follow also. One of it was sati. When the husband dies, the women, the widow, she was also been killed with the dead body of the husband. Child marriages. Women don't have right to speak. So people, not only men, equally women were also suffered a lot. They were forced to suffer, and due to this kind of superstitions. If you don't do this, this might have happened. Such kind of superstition, beliefs, false beliefs, evil beliefs, forced the innocent people, ignorant people to suffer. See, completely injustice. They have to bend. They were forced to the ground by the upper caste people. This is what the caste system was, and we can't even imagine ourselves in those days. Now we have our own problems, as we were discussing in the beginning. It may be pollution or population, corruption or illiteracy, or sanitation or women's safety. Whatever the problems we have right now, at least we have knowledge to overcome it. At least we are trying to reduce from some or other way. But in those days, it was not like that. These men, these low caste people, they were completely pressed to the ground, suppressed to the ground. So that's what the thing happened. And here's Rabindranath Tagore. I hope you know, everyone knows Rabindranath Tagore. He was a poet, lyricist, a writer, and his compilation of poems, which gave the name Geetanjali, was presented, honored Nobel Prize. So he is the first Indian poet who received the Nobel Prize for his works. And why Rabindranath Tagore is very important? Because through his works, it may be poems, it may be short stories, it may be stories or songs, whatever it may be, whatever he used to write, his intention was to motivate the young generation, keep the strength up. His writings led the young generation to lead the freedom fight. So that's such a great writer he was. And a part of Gitanjali, I mean, as I told you, it's a compilation of many poems all together. He named it as Gitanjali, and one of it has become our, Janagarimana, our anthem, our national anthem is also composed by Rabindranath Tagore. That is also part of Gitanjali. So coming to our 5A face sheet. See, here we have a small few lines by Rabindranath Tagore. See, where the world has not been broken into fragments, pieces, by narrow domestic walls. Here, narrow domestic walls, it may be caste related, poverty related, education, color, gender, education, gender, region, religion. If we go on writing, we'll get a lot of narrow domestic walls. Even now, I'm telling you, even now, they have become little more narrow, with little more thin, but the complete walls between the communities, regions, religions has not gone. It's not eradicated. Even now we are facing some or other kind of problems in nook and corner of our India. So here, narrow domestic walls means all these things. Into heaven of freedom. Into heaven of freedom, my father led my country awake. It's a wonderful poem by Rabindranath Tagore, which is, where the world has not been broken into fragments by narrow domestic walls. Into that heaven of freedom, my father led my country awake. So here, these lines are trying to express his real feeling, real truth of the world. Because each and every part of the world, each and every part of our India, okay, even in world also there were many differences. Let's talk about our India. So our India was separated into many different pieces, many parts. What are the parts? Yes, a part which may be for region, or which may be for religion, or the caste, or gender, or color, or rich, or poor. Like that, they made their own walls between man to man, person to person, demolishing and diminishing the human values. We, the human beings, created all these domestic walls and separated persons, people from one another. So, Rabindranath Tagore, through his poem, he is trying to motivate, encourage the young generation that this was the reason, this was the thing which happened, and he is requesting the Father, that means Father means God. Here Father reflects the version of God. Oh my dear God, please let my country go into heaven. Let my country awake. They are sleeping, keeping all these burdens on their head. Let my people live freely. Break all the fragments, break all the walls between person to person, and let them live in a heaven. That's what the lines are talking about. A very beautiful lines. If possible, try to go and read the complete poem, and I hope in your 9th class you have this complete poem, maybe 9th or 8th class you have the complete poem. I hope you remember. So continuing with the question and answers, what do above lines talk about? The above lines were talking about the social evils present in the society. What does the expression the narrow domestic wall means? This is all you can write. The expression the narrow domestic wall means the differences between people as caste, region, religion, language, rich, poor, educated, uneducated, gender differences, social differences. So these are all things you can write. And coming to our oral discourse, a very beautiful one, very like a thought-provoking discourse is given over here. That is, social evils are the hurdles for the development of the country. Do you agree or not? Social evils are the hurdles. Hurdles means problems, stopovers, like because of them we'll stop there itself. We won't think beyond. We stop there and we start fighting. Due to that fight, what is happening? Our time is being wasted. We are not thinking about the development or civilization. But we are only thinking about the conflicts. So obviously, such kind of differences in the society are hurdles to the civilization. On that topic, elaborately giving proper appropriate examples, you can go with the oral discourse. Okay, thank you.